Good morning, ladies. Welcome to our stretch class. I am filling in for Nicole this morning. Some of you may have been in the earlier class. Welcome back if you were. Welcome to those of you who are just joining me now. So we're going to go through a series of gentle stretches and work on our breathing and focus on really getting to a relaxed state. And hopefully you'll feel great when you finish. That's the goal. All right, so we're going to start out with a big step, opening up the hips. Big step, and then a circle with one arm and a circle with the other arm. So we're going to do a few minutes of warm up here just to get those muscles nice and warm before we go into stretching. Step, step, circle, circle. Two muscle groups tend to be shortened throughout our day. Hip flexors and chest muscles. Good. You can modify any of these motions if you need to. Big step, big circle. Big circle, great. And thinking about our breathing as we get started, getting into that mode of focusing on core engagement, breathing. Let's do one more. Step, step, circle, circle. Good, let's just cross those arms in front now. Warm up the shoulders and the chest, alternating which arm goes on top. Knees are nice and soft. Shoulders are down, and we're breathing. Great. And continuing with that opening of the chest, we're going to do a step back, stretching out the calf, opening up the hip, staying with the opening of the arms here. So if you can, both feet are facing forward. Feeling that nice calf stretch. If you're able to get that heel on the floor, that's great. If you can't get that heel on the floor, you can make it a shorter step back, and then that should help you get that heel down, okay? So smaller step back. So you feel that stretch off the back of the leg, in the front, while we're opening up that chest. And did you notice you're working on balance here as well? Some of you may have trouble with this, or may find it challenging. So again, if you're finding it challenging, just take a smaller step back, okay? Narrow that stance, okay? Let's do two more. Reaching back and reaching back. Great. All right, we're going to reach up, opposite arm and leg reach. Again, a little balance, stretch exercise. Focusing on getting that arm right over the shoulder if you can. Focusing on that stretch through the side. And also balancing here. Even though I'm reaching up, I want you to focus on keeping the shoulders down. That's a hard one for a lot of people. So when the arm goes up, a lot of times that shoulder automatically goes with it. So I want you to focus on shoulders down. Excuse me. And arm reaches up independently of the shoulders going up. Okay? Let's do two more. I think you can hear me better. My hand's off. Now that Dave's gone, I can take that off. Good. Let's do two more. Reach and hold. And reach and hold. Great. We're going to go into a squat, hips back, with a side bend. Hips back, side bend. Good. On that squat, you want to focus on pushing the hips back, activating quads, hamstrings, and glutes. Core stays engaged. On that reach, reaching through the side or side bend, feeling a nice stretch in the side. Let's do two more. All right, let's warm up those legs a little bit more with a booty kick. If you can, you want the knee right underneath the hip on this. Basically like a leg curl, and you should feel hamstring activation on this as well as a dynamic quad stretch. So it's kind of a double duty there, activating the hamstrings, stretching the quads. And then we're going to add a little pull back or row on this. Shoulders down, chest is up. Just activating that upper back. Great. And we're breathing throughout, right? Good. All right, let's do two more. Excellent. And we're going to do just a few of these, what I call TikToks, lifting one leg up, a little bit of balance, also activating that hip and glute as the arms swing loosely. fluid motion here. Nice. Great. Let's do 2 more. All right, excellent. We're going to start with a chest opener today, or chest stretch. I'm going to run you through a couple of chest stretches. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to find a pole or a wall at your house. Doorway works really well to open up this chest. Now, depending on your shoulders, if you have a shoulder issue, you can make this as gentle of a stretch or open as you need to, okay? But I'm going to face in one direction. Palm is away from me, shoulders down, reaching onto my pole or doorway, and I'm going to gently face forward until I feel a nice opening of the chest. Notice my shoulder is down, my knees are soft, nothing else is involved here but the shoulder and chest. Now, if this is too much, just make it a little bit easier on yourself. Don't have the arm behind you, but have it a little bit more arm out to the side, and just a gentle stretch of the pec can be done that way as well, okay? So whatever works for you today, you're going to hold it and breathe. Great. Shoulders stay down. Awesome. All right, we're going to do the other side, just so that you can see me. I might have my back to you. Same thing, you're going to grab onto that. It could be a doorway or a pole, and you're going to gently turn the other way. Shoulders stay down. Let's see if I turn this way, you can probably see me better. There we go, great. Kind of coming out of the screen here. Okay, good. So, same thing, knees are soft. Now, sometimes if you have a shoulder issue, that external rotation can be the hardest thing for you to do. So again, you can make it a small motion. You can have your hand more forward and just a little bit of a slight opening of the chest. Okay, it does not have to be the hand behind you if that does not work. Alternatively, you could do this with a bent arm, which also might be better for those of you if you have a shoulder issue. Okay, and again, making it as small as you need to, but really important to keep that flexibility regardless of shoulder issue or not. Really important to keep that flexibility in the chest. All right, we're going to shake it out here. And another chest opener, most of you are probably familiar with, is holding the hands behind the body, shoulders down, chest is open. I like to do this a lot just when I'm standing. And just a simple action of holding your hands behind your hips, whether they're clasped or not, will open up those chest muscles. So great for the posture. Now, if we want to add a little bit more to this, we're going to simply raise the arms up and hold. Now, this is only if your shoulders are flexible and good and you want a little bit more of a stretch. I invite you to inhale with me here. And exhale as you reach up and hold. And lowering the arms as you inhale. And exhale, reach up and hold. Now, if you can't reach up and hold, you're just going to do the deep breathing and just hold the arms right where they are. Inhale here. And exhale, reach. One more deep breath in. And exhale, reach. Great, so now we've got the front of the body. Now we're going to do the upper back. I invite you to grab your right elbow with your left hand, and you're gently going to bring that arm across the body to work that upper back, or stretch that upper back, I should say. Mindful of the shoulders staying down. Again, the shoulders a lot of times want to do this, especially the shoulder that you're reaching, that you're pulling across the body. Make sure your shoulders stay square as you gently pull that elbow across the body and breathe. Good, shoulders stay down. This does not have to be a big movement. It's just a gentle pulling of the elbow across the body till you feel that nice upper back stretch. And one more deep breath in. the other side, gently clasping the other elbow, in this case my left elbow, and gently pulling it across the body. Shoulders stay down, knees stay soft. Deep breath in here. Again, mindful of that shoulder not coming up and staying down. As we get more into the class, I want you to think about breathing a little deeper, which we'll go into a little bit later in the class. We'll actually work on deep belly breathing, but for right now, I want you to think about breathing more deeply and slowing down the breath. You'll find as you get more relaxed that hopefully you will actually automatically slow down your breathing. All right, shaking it out, great. All right, we're gonna do a little tricep stretch next. You're gonna clasp your right elbow with your left hand. I'll show you from the side. Raising that elbow up, gently pulling back, and you're going to let that right lower arm just fall and hang down. So, stretching the triceps here. As we're breathing, hand should be fully relaxed on this arm, just focusing on that right triceps. Head and neck should be in a neutral position. Great. One more deep breath in here. Awesome. Shaking out those arms. We're going to switch sides. Clasping my left elbow with my right hand now. Shoulders stay down as I gently pull that left elbow back. And breathing here. Should feel nice stretch in the back of the arm here in the triceps. Those are your skull crusher muscles, your push-up muscles. Anytime you're pushing, you're using your triceps, pushing the door open, pushing yourself up in bed. These are the muscles that work for that. Great. All right, shaking out those arms, dropping those shoulders. All right, I invite you to use a chair for this next stretch, a chair or a wall or a counter. We're going to do some calf stretching here and some hip hinging. So we're going to start with a calf stretch. So holding on to your counter or wall or chair, you're going to slide your left leg back. Both feet are facing forward. And if you can, you're going to get that back heel down and feel that nice stretch in the calf. Shoulders are down, chest is up. Breathing throughout. Now, if you're feeling like it's not much of a stretch, you can move the leg back further. Conversely, if it's too much or you can't get that heel down, go ahead and bring that foot forward a little bit. But I want you to try and get that heel down so you feel that calf stretch. And again, if you can get that foot facing forward, that'll also directly stretch the calf in a more effective way, okay? Nice, we're going to switch legs. We're going to bring that left leg forward and move that right leg back. Same thing here, both feet are facing forward. Trying to get that right heel down on the ground, adjusting your spacing as necessary. Further back is a little bit harder, a little bit more of a stretch for some of you. If it's too much, bring that leg forward, just so you're feeling that calf stretch, wherever it may be for you, trying to get that heel down, okay? Now you'll find sometimes during the stretch, if you're getting into deep breathing and slowly, rhythmically focusing on the stretch, you'll find sometimes you're able to go a little bit further. So you may start out feeling kind of tight, but then by the third or fourth deep breath, you may feel like, I can take this a little bit further. I can lean a little bit more forward with my left leg, and I feel more of a stretch in the calf. So throughout these stretches, keep that in mind. The nice thing about the deep breathing is it really does help carry you further into a stretch. Do one more deep breath in here. Great, we're going to go into a hip hinge, which is going to stretch our lower back and hamstrings and shoulders as well. So you're going to hold on to your same counter or chair, whichever it may be. Feet are going to be about shoulder width apart. Knees are going to be soft as you drop your chest toward the floor. Now you may need to adjust here. You may need to walk those feet a little bit further back. I want you to feel a really nice gentle stretch in the upper back, lower back, and the hamstrings and the shoulders. And again, taking some deep breaths here, you may feel like you can go a little bit deeper into the stretch. Head and neck should be nice and relaxed on this. Now, if your back is good and you want a little bit more of an intense hamstring stretch, I invite you to straighten your knees gently with me. So you're going to take a deep breath in here as your knees stay soft and bent. As you exhale, you're going to gently push your knees back just a little bit so you feel a little bit more intensity in the hamstrings. And this is just if you need a little bit more of a stretch in the hamstrings. So your inhale, knees a little bit bent. Exhale, pushing the knees back just a little bit. Good. Inhale, a gentle bend in the knees. And exhale, pushing those knees back. Let's do two more here. Inhale, gentle bend. Exhale, pushing the knees back. Last one. Inhale, gentle bend. Exhale, pushing those knees back. Well done. All right, we're going to gently come up. I'm going to check my little cheat sheet here, make sure I'm getting everything. Oh, I actually do want to do one more with the chair or your countertop, okay? And that is the inner thigh stretch. So also helps with hip opening. So I'm going to show you from this view here so you can see me, but I want you to hold on to something if you need to. Okay, so your feet are going to be nice and wide. You're going to push those hips back as you gently go to one side, mindful of this knee not coming past the foot. Okay, so again, you want your feet parallel here. You want to push those hips back. You should feel really great inner thigh stretch here, also opening up that left hip. All right, so if you're using your chair or counter, you can just step out to one side. See, I was doing my left side, so I'm going to stay with that and just hold. Chest stays up. And again, you might find you can push your hips back a little bit more. You should feel a really nice stretch in the inner thighs here. And let's go to the other side. So I'm here, I'm coming back to center, regrouping here, abs engaged, gently coming down to my left side, pushing the hips back, feeling that nice stretch in the right inner thigh, opening up the right hip. Mindful of that knee not going past the foot, okay? So you can make this as modify as needed here. If you have a knee that doesn't like to go too far here, don't go quite so far, just focus on the hips going back. But I notice a lot of you have tight hip flexors. We all tend to with sitting during the day. So really great for opening up those hips, stretching out those inner thighs. Should feel like a great stretch. I'm going to come back to my chair. All right, I'm going to flip my chair around. We're going to go to seated stretches. And I'm just going to keep my cheat sheet right here, make sure I don't forget anything. We're going to start with a breathing. I talked to you about, I said we were going to practice our breathing. So we're going to start with just a breathing practice here. I want you to sort of sit towards the end of the chair here. So I don't want you back here in the slump position. I want you nice and tall through the chest. Shoulders are going to be down. I want you to put your hands on your abdomen here. One hand's going to be above the navel and the other is going to be below. And I want you to think about Focus on your breathing here, okay? So most of us, if you're not focused on your breathing, most of us do not breathe into the belly as we should. Now, if you can focus on, you might find, let's focus first on which hand is going up, okay? So you might feel the top hand raising as you inhale. If you're like most of us. If you are super advanced and you're used to belly breathing, you will know what I'm going to tell you next. And that is, I want you to try and breathe deeper into your belly, which means your lower hand should be actually raising up too. So it's sort of like you're filling up a big balloon, and instead of just blowing a little bit into that balloon, you want to blow all the way in so the entire balloon is inflating. Okay, and that's what you want to think about in your rib cage here. So this is going to feel like a real effort at first if you're not used to it, but as we get more into our stretching exercises, I want you to focus on the remainder of the class on breathing deeply into that belly. All kinds of advantages. They've done studies that have shown it helps with relaxation, it helps with stretching, it helps with blood pressure, it helps with your mental state, and it just is a wonderful way to relax. So helps with anxiety, which a lot of us have had lately, more than normal maybe. So let's do one more deep breath, focusing on breathing as deep into that belly, lower hand coming up as you can, okay? All right, you're gonna shake out the arms now, and we're gonna do a figure 4 stretch, which is another hip opener, another one of my favorite ways to open up the hips. You're gonna cross your left ankle over your right knee, and you're gonna stay nice and tall through the chest, shoulders stay down. Now, we are opening up the left hip with this stretch. For some of you, this may be enough of a stretch. It may be super intense. And if that's the case, I want you to stay right here. For those of you who need a little bit more of a stretch, option to lean forward slightly without rounding the back. I want you to lead with your chest until you get to that place of, that's a good stretch, and hold there. Practicing that deep belly breathing. And again, leaning a little deeper into the stretch if you can as you're breathing more deeply. One more breath. Excellent. Now we're going to stretch the IT band, the outside of the hip on this side. You're going to gently clasp that same left knee, and you're going to pull it gently across the body, ever so slightly, again, depending on how much of a stretch you need or you feel, and you're going to feel a nice stretch in this. It's called your IT band, which is outside the thigh. You're going to hold your left hand on the chair here and gentle stretch here. Now you have an option here to add a small twist toward my straight arm. That's only if your back is good and you're able to do a gentle twist. So in addition to that IT band stretch, you're getting a gentle back stretch. If twisting does not feel good on your back, please do not do this. Just stick with your IT band stretch and stay facing forward, okay? We're still breathing here. Slow and rhythmically. Twist is optional. Great. All right, we're going to put that leg down. We're going to switch sides. I'm going to put my right ankle over my left knee. Same thing on this side. I'm nice and tall through the torso, nice and tall through the chest.
Feeling the stretch here in my right hip. If you need more of a stretch here, you're going to gently lean forward, leading with the chest until you feel enough of a stretch. And with any stretch, I like to tell people you want to stretch to slight discomfort is okay, but never to pain. So you never want to feel pain in a stretch. If you're a little uncomfortable and you're feeling a good stretch, that's okay. You're going to hold it there. You'll find that one side is always a little bit tighter than the other, and that's a nice thing to identify so you can work more on the weaker or less flexible side. One more deep breath here. Great. So now we're going to stretch the IT band, the outside of the thigh on this side. I'm going to gently clasp my right knee with my left hand. I'm going to keep my right arm underneath me here. If you have a chair, you can hold it underneath. And I'm going to gently pull that right knee towards my body. So I'm feeling a nice stretch through the outside of the thigh here. An option to do a small twist toward that leg if your back is open to that, okay? If you don't want to do the twist, you can still just do the IT band stretch and stay facing straight ahead. If you're doing the twist, you can make it as gentle as you need to. Just feeling a small stretch in that lower back on that. Still feeling that IT band or outside of the leg stretch. And focusing on that breathing. Great, we're going to come back to center here. I'd like you to do a couple of shoulder rolls forward, right arm, left arm, alternating for now. Loosening up those shoulders. Great, just nice range of motion movement there. Now you're going to go backwards. The shoulder goes up and back, up and back. And we're going to do a nice shoulder neck stretch coming up here. So I just want to loosen up those shoulders before we do that. All right, I'm going to have you put your arm either in this position, or if you've got a good shoulder and you're able to put it behind you, you're going to put it behind you, and we're going to stretch that neck, left ear going to the left shoulder, gentle stretch of the neck, shoulder, and opening up this chest. Now, if this is too aggressive for your shoulder, if you do have a shoulder issue, again, you can put that arm straight down and gently lower the neck, still feeling that nice neck stretch. Putting the hand behind just adds a little bit more of a chest opener, shoulder stretch with the neck, a little more intense if you're able to do that. And breathing. All right, we're going to do that other side, same thing. Left arm is either going to be straight down or gently tucked behind you. Shoulder stays down as you slowly drop the right ear towards the right shoulder until you feel a nice stretch in the neck on the left side. And you're going to hold there as you do some deep breaths here. How are you doing with your belly breathing, ladies? Are you able to get a little deeper breath into that lower belly? I hope so. Belly rising and falling with the breathing. Great. Bringing that left arm down now, shaking those arms out. I'd like to do a little forearm wrist stretch next. You're going to bring your right arm up in front of you. You're going to have your fingers facing toward the ceiling. You're going to grab the top of your fingers with your left hand and you're going to gently pull back till you feel a nice stretch in the wrist and the lower forearm, okay? This is a great stretch if you've got any kind of wrist issues, if you have tendonitis in your elbow. This is a really important area to stay flexible and to stretch. Breathing throughout. Now we're going to go the other direction. You're going to drop those fingers toward the floor and gently push those fingers in as you feel more of a stretch in the top of the forearm this time. Great, let's do the other side. Left arm up, fingers going towards the ceiling. Gently pulling back on those fingers, feeling that stretch in the bottom of the forearm and the wrist and the hand, holding there. Making sure your head and neck stay nice and relaxed. Great, pointing those fingers down toward the floor now, stretching the top of the forearm, flexing the wrist in the other direction. Gently pushing back, pushing against the hand if you need a little bit more of a stretch. Fingers pointing down. One more deep breath here, deep into the belly. Blowing it out. Great. All right, we're going to make our way to the mat next. We're going to start, let's start on all fours here and do a little cat-cow. Most of you are familiar with cat-cow. Your knees are going to be right underneath your hips. Hands are going to be right underneath your shoulders. We're going to go into flexion and extension with the back. If there's one area, one extreme flexion or extension that does not feel good on your back, whether it's cat or cow, then I want you to go from a neutral position to the one that does feel good. So if rounding, flexion feels better, I want you to stay with neutral to rounding. And if extension feels better or arching, I want you to stay with arching to neutral, okay? Feel free to make a knuckle here if you've got any wrist issues. So I'm in my tabletop position. As I take a deep belly breath in, I'm going to raise my hips up, raise my chest up, and raise my head up. This is your cow. Shoulders stay away from the ears. And as you exhale, you're going to draw your navel in, tuck the tailbone, drop the head and neck. Going into flexion or cat. As you inhale again, raising the hips up, raising the chest up, shoulders stay down, holding. And exhale, drawing the navel in, tucking that tailbone, relaxing that head and neck. We're going to do one more here. Deep breath in. Raising the tailbone, raising the chest up. And exhale, tucking that tailbone, drawing that navel in, relaxing it. All right, sitting back into a child's pose here. I'm going to walk my hands in front, sitting back, sinking into my shoulders, feeling beautiful stretch in that lower back, all the way through the upper back, and through the shoulders. And relaxing here. This is always a great restorative pose for those of you who have back issues. Wonderful way to restore the back. Alternatively, you can do it on a pillow with your arms here, as done as in yoga sometimes. If you have a shoulder issue, that might be more comfortable for you. So both options really great for that low back. All right, we're gonna roll onto your back now. And we're gonna do some, what I call windshield wipers, which is also a great lower back stretch, hip stretch, and chest opener. Arms are gonna be out to the side, shoulders are down, knees are bent. While you're breathing, you're gonna gently drop your knees to one side, stopping whenever you feel a nice gentle stretch in the hip and low back, and chest muscle, pectoral muscle on that side. Some of you may be able to go all the way to the floor. You can do that if that's what you need to do for a stretch, but don't feel like you have to go to the floor. I don't want you to strain your back here. So whatever is a gentle stretch on your hip, low back, and again, bonus for opening up the chest and holding here. All right, we're going to gently bring those knees to center and slowly lower the knees to the other side. Again, just until you feel a nice stretch in that low back and hip on this side, chest opening on the same side and holding it there. Focusing on the rise and fall of the belly, thinking about the belly expanding as you inhale and then dropping as you exhale. All right, we're going to come back to center now, and you're going to pull that left knee into your chest and do some nice big foot or ankle circles, relaxing the shoulders, thinking about the crown of your head being nice and long behind you, stretching out that ankle, working on that ankle flexibility, foot flexibility, switching direction, nice big circle with that foot and ankle. Now we're going to reach that foot straight toward the ceiling, gently clasping behind, below the knee, behind the leg. Option to pull that leg in until you feel a nice hamstring stretch here. This should feel great on the back as well. And again, as you're breathing more deeply, you might find you can pull that leg in a little bit further. All right, same thing other side. You're going to pull that right knee into your chest with some nice big foot and ankle circles on the other side. Head and neck stay nice and relaxed. Breathing into the belly. Circling in the other direction now. Nice big circle, loosening up the ankle. Now you're going to reach that right heel towards the ceiling and stretch the hamstrings on the right side with the option to gently pull that leg in if you need a little bit more of a stretch. Shoulders remain down and relaxed. Great, we're going to gently roll over onto your side. And we're going to do one more hip flexor stretch, bringing the right foot forward. I like to do this one on the bench sometimes, but you can do this on the mat as well. You're going to make sure your right knee is over your right ankle, your left knee is underneath your left hip, and you're going to gently lean into that left hip until you feel a nice stretch in the front of that left hip flexor. I like to bring my left arm towards the ceiling, so I'm showing you from the front here. So I'm carrying that stretch all the way from the quad through the hip flexor, all the way up through the shoulder and chest. And breathing here. So if you're not feeling this stretch intensely enough, feel free to move this foot forward and adjust your stance. You can also squeeze that left glute to make this a little bit more intense. You'll feel that right here. Great way to open up the hips. Stretch those hip flexors, which again tend to be tightened so much throughout the day. Let's switch sides. That right knee down, left leg's going to be in front. Gently lean into that right hip now. Option to put that right arm up. Continue with your breathing. One more deep breath here. All right, bringing your hands down, bringing your foot forward to match the other foot. Gently rolling up. Shaking those arms out, spreading those feet apart. Let's do one more deep breath in here. Crossing the arms in front. Exhaling, reaching up nice and tall to the ceiling. And again, mini squat here if you like. Inhale, exhale, reaching up nice and tall. Final deep breath here. Exhale, reaching up nice and tall to the ceiling. Great job, ladies. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take good care.